Sorry, everyone. Just trying to get this all figured out. For some reason, that was not liking me before. Okay. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me? Cool. Okay, so sorry, everybody. This kind of threw me a curveball at the last second. Said that I needed to, let's see here. Okay. Anyway, okay, so this should be good now. Well, I guess we'll see how many people show up. Okay. 5 of us here. Hopefully a few other people show. I'm annoyed that that original stream did not work. Super obnoxious. Okay. So I told you to come with questions. I know there's only 5 of you here. But I would love to start answering questions because answering questions is like my favorite part of my job. So, yeah. What questions do we have? Whoa, the focus on this camera is not awesome. I apologize about that. Okay, so first things first, it looks like most of you here are freshmen. Well, first of all, I hope that you're coming back to Da Vinci next year. Really wish that this would focus on me, not make it so blurry. If I take my hat off, does that help? No. Not really. Okay. Okay. Let me pull this up. Hopefully, people will email me if they're having issues getting in. For those of you who are coming back to the school next year, and if you have the opportunity to take chemistry, I'll be teaching chemistry next year, and I plan on being here for a while, so I'll probably be teaching chemistry for several years to come. So, if you're interested in chemistry, take it. It's going to be a really cool class, and we're going to have good times. Should be a lot of fun. So here's something that I've been talking about with my space exploration class a bit, but not with you other classes. Hello, Aspen. So NASA is going to be sending astronauts to the space station, which is not an unusual thing, but it is important because there's going to be, it's the first time that NASA is sending astronauts to the space station on an American rocket since 2011, which is like most of your lifetime. So that's exciting. It's going to be really cool. It's on May 27th is the day that it's going to be happening. So check it out. It's going to be really cool. 2 astronauts are going to be going on a SpaceX rocket up to the International Space Station on May 27th. So if you want some sciencey things, check that out. Okay. So, yeah. Questions. I really am doing this because people told me that they would tune in, but apparently only 5 of you are honest. I was hoping that we would have more people tune in this afternoon. First of all, how are you all doing? I don't do live videos for classes anymore for the same reason that this live stream isn't going so awesome, because people don't show up. There it goes. Now it finally focuses on me. Yeah, because people don't show up, unfortunately, because I end up just talking to 2 or 3 people as opposed to a class. And so I just post the assignments now. Hello, unnamed film channel. So that's the reason why I don't do live video classes anymore. I liked doing them, but again, if only like 2 or 3 people show up, I don't know how much of a, I don't know if there's much purpose for it. So how are you all doing? Hanging in there? Doing okay? I hope so. I know. I liked doing the videos. It was fun. Are Japanese Hornets in the United States? Yes. There are Japanese giant hornets in the United States. I believe they're mostly in the state of Washington. If you don't know what those are, they are hornets that are like 7 centimeters. They're terrifying. Some people are calling them murder hornets. I wouldn't worry too much about it because people, I don't know, we tend to do this thing where we hear about something happening, something scary happening, and we automatically assume that it's going to happen to us, or we automatically assume that it's not going to happen to us. The likelihood is that it probably won't affect you, but it could. I wouldn't worry too much about the Japanese giant hornets. Yeah. I mean, I don't think that they're going to like spread out and take over the world from the United States. We'll see. Hopefully hopefully they don't become like a super invasive species. If they do, that might be an issue. That's okay, AJ. You can use a different account. Most people are. Yeah, so Japanese giant hornets, unfortunately, they are very good at killing European honeybees. I'm looking at my audio levels here, and they just look a little bit low. So I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. If it gets too loud, then let me know. Um, unfortunately, Japanese hornets are very good at killing European honeybees, which are the honeybees that we use for our honey. So, yeah, I hope that we get it under control and then eradicate them from the United States because they could be an invasive species, which would be an issue. What other news things do you people in science or whatever y'all want to talk about? There's always cool stuff going on in space. Did you hear about this? Tom Cruise is working with NASA to film a movie on the International Space Station. That's going to be cool. AJ asks, how would we eradicate them from the United States? The good old-fashioned way, track them down and kill them. My guess is that we could just send a whole bunch of entomologists and they could find, because if we can contain the spread right now of these hornets, then they shouldn't get too far. So yeah, going back, Tom Cruise is working with NASA to make a movie on the International Space Station. So he'll probably ride on that same SpaceX capsule I was talking about earlier. It's gonna be cool. I'm really, really excited about it. Actually, I hope that it's well done. Most Tom Cruise movies are done pretty well. Tom Cruise is kind of a weirdo himself, but hopefully the movie turns out good. Other questions anybody have for me? Stuff happening on Mars. Neolithic Atlantic population. Yeah. A lot of the news, like science news, is from space. Makes sense because space is so big and there's lots to find. Why is my sleep schedule so messed up? For a few days, I woke up at 8 a.m. now at 10 a.m. Because you're out of your norm. Because you're not going to school. Because you aren't hanging out with friends, or at least you're not. Hopefully, not hanging out with friends too much. I mean, keep it small, right? Yeah, we are creatures of habit. So my sleep schedule's messed up too. I have to wake up early to post stuff for classes, but I keep on going to bed way later than I should. Here's something that's been interesting that's been going on. Scientists have found the closest black hole to Earth, which is cool. And I think a lot of people are like worried about it. I don't think that we need to be too worried about it, especially because I think it's like 1,000 light years away, which in terms of the galaxy is not very big, right? The galaxy is about 100,000 light years across, but 1,000 light years is a ways away. So we don't have to worry about it. And we're all moving together, right? So like we're all going around the center of the galaxy. It's going to be okay. So don't worry about the closest black hole. Yes, there are black holes close to us, but we don't need to really be worried about them. A lot of people think about black holes as like these giant, just like they just go through space and just suck up everything. That is true to an extent, right? Things have to be close to the black hole in order to be affected by the gravity. What should we worry about? Climate change, social inequality. What should we worry about? We should also worry about just like people having the right to do what they want to do without being ostracized or criticized or no, ostracized is one thing, but like having the right to do things legally and so forth. Speaking of climate change, I got my solar panels installed on my house yesterday. So I'm super excited about that. They look pretty sweet. Do you think we are going to die? From what? I think that all of us that are participating in this little live stream chat will die. Or at least our biological bodies will die. Anything. I mean, yeah, most. So are we going to die? Yes, but trust me, you're going to die a lot later than you think. Yeah, so Fruity Punches of Oats. I know that I should remember who this is because you've logged into the live stream several times before, but I don't remember who you are, Fruity Punches. Yeah, I mean, it is Amy, that's right. Hello, Amy. It is very likely, and when I say very likely, I mean really, really, really likely, mostly probable, that everyone in this generation will die. But I think we are getting pretty close to figuring out how to keep people alive forever. And whether that is through the biological, like just keeping the biology going by like changing out parts. So if you have a bad heart, you just get an artificial heart. If you have a bad liver, you just get a new 3D printed or plastic and metal liver. And then eventually we'll be able to just kind of take the information in our brains and put it into a computer. So that's called transhumanism. And it is very likely that we will figure that out eventually someday. And I say we, as in the species. I'm not talking about me and you 8 people watching this. I mean, that'd be cool if we did, just the 8 of us, the 9 of us. But someday we'll figure it out. And I really think that humans are going to live for a lot longer. AJ, you ask, what do you think the average death by old age will be in our generation? So that's a great question. It's actually a really well-worded question. I think that most people in your generation, your generation is essentially the same as my generation. I know I seem a lot older than you to you all. I'm not all that much older than you all. I'm like 13 or 14 years older than most of you, which is like double your lifetime, I understand. But we're really in age, we're pretty close. Like when I'm 84 and you are all 70, it's going to seem like we're pretty close in age. But anyway, I think that most people in this generation will die in their early 100s, like death by old age. But I think that some people in this generation will live to be over 200. And I think that some exceptional people might live to be over 250. Unfortunately, there will be a disparity because of wealth. I hope not. I hope that this technology is available to everyone and that we're all able to live a lot longer. But I think that many people will live to be over 200 in your generation. I don't know about like an average. I'd say that the average will be higher than it is now. Average death in developed countries, average lifespan is like 78, 79, 80 years old. That will continue to go up. I think that average developed country lifespan will probably go into the hundreds before you all kick the bucket. But yes, being over 250. But here's the thing: like people think like automatically, and Ashlyn, I'm going to answer your question in just a second. People think like automatically, oh, I don't want to live to be that long because I've seen what an 80-year-old looks like, and I've seen what a 90-year-old looks like, and they just look really old and they are decrepit and they can't do anything. 80 is going to be the new 40. Okay, so, and I know that you think that 40 is really old. I got to remember that I'm talking to a bunch of teenagers here. But 40 is just outside of prime. Okay. So I just turned 30, right? And I'm right in the middle of my physical prime. You hit your physical prime at like 18, 19, and then that physical prime lasts until you're like 42, 43. I think that we're going to be able to extend not just our lifespan, but our physical peak, where we'll be able to expand that range from like 20 years to 80 years. So I think that people that are 100 and 130 in the future will be running marathons. I think that people that are 125 years old will still be participating in really high level physical activity. I mean, I could see a future where we're looking at people playing professional sports until they're like 70 or 80 years old. So I'm not just talking about like extending lifespan. You just get like more and more hunched over and you just, no, I'm talking about like looking like you're in a physical prime. I don't want to use myself as an example because I wouldn't exactly call myself physically prime, but like, yeah. So we'll be able to not just looking, but feeling and acting and having the capability of living much, much longer. There's a fantastic podcast. This is what I'm going to finish off with here, with Bill Nye. He talks with a guy that is studying aging. So Bill Nye has a podcast called Science Rules with Bill Nye. And a few episodes ago, he talked with an aging expert. And so check it out. Yeah. In fact, I'll just put it in the comments here. Science Rules with Bill Nye. Check it out. I don't know the exact name of the episode, but that's yeah. So finally, I can get back to answering Ashlyn's question. Do your muscles really tear when you work out? So they don't tear apart. So remember that your muscles are made out of muscle fibers, and those muscle fibers are all made out of individual muscle cells. And so muscle cells, they're connected together through, so like here's a cell, okay? And they have stuff in between them. It's called the extracellular matrix. And it connects them all together. Well, that stuff gets torn, okay? And they actually use that extracellular matrix to squeeze together in order to actually make your muscles contract, right? So like when I'm squeezing my fingers, when I'm clasping my fist like this, there's muscles in my forearm. The cells are actually ratcheting past each other. And when you exercise, a whole bunch of those connections break, and so they snap, and so your body has to rebuild those connections, and when it does so, it actually builds them more durably. And so that's when you exercise, you're actually forcing your muscles to grow because you're tearing them a little bit. And then when they can rebuild themselves, they rebuild themselves stronger. So yeah, that's how exercising your muscles works. That's all right. I think I'm going to be ending here in just a little bit anyway, because we only have like 7 people. We went up to 9, and then we fell off there a little bit. Does anyone else have any other questions? I'd love to talk more. I really would. I mean, of course I would. I love talking. That's why I became a teacher. How is life? Life's good. My wife is doing pretty well, being pregnant with the twins. The twins will be here before the start of next school year. So you'll get to see them when we come back to school, which we will. We'll come back to school. Don't worry. It's just a little bit of a hiatus right now. But life is good for me. I've been following a lot about space exploration stuff. Of course I have, because that's my thing. If you're interested, check out the SpaceX Starship. Super interesting stuff. Seriously, check it out. It's going to be really cool. Am I going to bring all my kids in? Maybe. Probably not. I will have pictures of the babies, though. So I'll show everybody pictures next year. I'm also not going to be in this classroom anymore. Well, I might be part of the time. I don't know how we're going to make it happen, actually. I'm going to be in the chemistry lab for most of my classes, because I'm going to be teaching chemistry. So I have to be in the chemistry room. So I will be in the other classroom. But I might come back in here for other class. I don't know what's going to work out, because Mrs. McLaughlin is going to have to find some space, because she's going to be teaching the medical science stuff still, like anatomy and all that. So I don't know what we're going to do. But most of the time, I'm not going to be in this classroom anymore, or at least half the time. So check out SpaceX Starship. It's really cool. They're building it in Texas. It's this huge rocket. They're just testing it right now, but it's designed to carry a bunch of people, and it's the whole idea is to actually take people to Mars in it. It's gonna be really cool. Are there gonna be new teachers? I'm sure there will be. I don't know who is leaving. I don't really keep track of all that. So, but there will be new teachers. Yes. I don't know any new teachers. I don't know who's leaving. I'm not teaching biology next year. Bummer. I had to give up biology or earth systems, and we determined that it would be best if I took earth systems and gave biology to someone else. So I believe that Miss Roberts is going to continue to teach biology, as well as Miss Herlenstein. So I'm not going to have biology anymore, which I am actually really sad about. I love teaching biology. Aspen only cares about herself. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I was happy to teach it for 2 years. I loved teaching biology, but we needed somebody to take the chemistry program, because Mrs. McLaughlin's not going to be teaching chemistry next year or going forward. So and I'm the only other teacher that has experience teaching chemistry and can viably do it. So I'll be teaching chemistry next year, which is going to be an adventure. I like chemistry a lot. So for those of you who had me for Earth Systems this year, you'll have a year off from me. You can take a break. You won't have to deal with me too much, unless you take astronomy or space exploration. And then after you take biology, you can take chemistry or physics. So if you want to avoid me forever going forward, you can. So biology, oh, stop it, Aspen. Biology's not hard. Ashlyn, it can be complicated. I think that Aspen's saying it's harder than it actually is. Biology is an interesting science because it's mostly about animals and plants and stuff. And so we don't do a lot of like math per se in biology. Yeah, there's a lot more math in like chemistry and especially physics. Physics, there's a lot of math, but biology is not that bad. It's actually what I got my teaching license in is biology because that's kind of my specialty, which is funny that I'm moving away from my specialty. Well, space is still a specialty of mine too, so I'll take that. But biology, I think that you'd like it. I think that you will like it, Ashlyn. You learn about, so like I'll just give you the basics, right? You start off, well, it depends on the teacher, right? But I teach it from small to big. So I teach about like molecules and how they work, and then how molecules can make bigger molecules called macromolecules. So like DNA is a macromolecule and sugar is a macromolecule. And those are very important for biology. And then we talk about how cells form and how cells work. And then we differentiate between cells. Then we talk about like organ systems. We move up from cells up to organ systems. And then full-blown organisms. That's us, right? We talk about what life is and how life works and what defines life. And then we talk about how life changes over time with evolution and natural selection. And then we talk about like ecosystems, right? So like big, how life interacts in between things. And I think that you'll like it. It's really cool. It's a lot of really cool stuff. I am sad that I don't get to teach it anymore, mostly because I don't get to teach about evolution anymore, which sucks. Evolution is my favorite thing in science. It is the coolest thing in science. I mean, space is right up there, but evolution is the coolest thing in science to me. So I don't get to teach it anymore, which is a bummer. So hopefully in the next few years, I can convince Miss Herlenstein to take Earth Systems, and I'll go back to biology. We'll see. Why am I at the school? I had some work to do today. The teacher band has actually been working on something. Not together, but I am here because this microphone is here, and because I was recording a portion of a song for the teacher band. I was recording the vocals for it. So in the next few weeks, look for an email from Mr. Lemon, probably. It might be included in morning announcements next week. A song from the teacher band. But next week we'll have a final exam and a study guide for your classes, but it's a final exam. It's like going to be the easiest final exam I've ever given. Do jellyfish really? Yes. Sea jellies kill more people than sharks do. Sea jelly Fatalities. Fatalities? Can I spell? Let's check this out. The deadliest. So, yeah, sea jellies kill about 40 people per year. And shark fatalities is like 4. See here. That's an average of 6. Yeah, it's an average of 6 fatalities from sharks every year. So, yeah, it's like almost 6 times more fatal sea jellies are than sharks. So, Aspen asks, how do sea jellies kill people? Well, they're toxic. They're venomous. So they can, they have like little stingers on their tentacles. It depends. Depends on the species of sea jelly. So for instance, like the boxed sea jelly is pretty dangerous, I think. Portuguese man-o-war, which is not technically a sea jelly, but it looks very much like a sea jelly. They can be very dangerous. So, and it's not just the venom that can kill someone, but also if you are swimming in the ocean and you get stung by a sea jelly, it can debilitate you. So you can't swim anymore after a while, and so you drown. Aurora says, I touched a jellyfish washed up on the beach. What color was that jellyfish? Aurora, if I might ask. Because if it was most of the time sea jellies don't wash up on the coast. It was a light purple. It's a very good chance that it might have been a Portuguese man-o-war. They look a lot like sea jellies. Don't touch them. don't touch sea jellies if you see them. They can be their stings can be extremely painful. Well, everybody, I've been going for 40 minutes here. We're back up to 9 people, which makes me almost want to keep on going, but I don't know if I'm going to. I've got to go home, have some lunch. I'm hungry. I miss you all. I do. I miss you all. I miss hanging out with you in class. Okay, you touch with a shovel. That's better. I miss you all. You're all awesome. Keep on moving forward. Don't give up. I know it's a stressful and uncertain and kind of fearful time, but keep your hopes up. Things are going to be okay. Humanity will move forward. Aspen, if you're leaving the school, I can understand that, but you could always take an elective space exploration or astronomy class with me if you want. If you're not going to the school anymore, or wait, next year you'd be in chemistry. So I guess you're leaving the school? If you're leaving the school, I'll miss you too. But if you're staying here and going to chemistry, then I'm going to be teaching it. So any last questions from anybody? Any last comments? Yeah, Aspen, if you're not leaving the school, then you'll probably be in chemistry because you're going to be an 11th grader. And chemistry, will be taught by me. So you will have me again for the third year in a row. You're part of that group of current 10th graders who will be 11th graders next year who will have me for science, earth systems, biology, and chemistry 3 years in a row. Which is pretty crazy. Okay. You're all cool. Carry on. Keep on learning. Be curious. Watch the NASA thing on the 27th. It's gonna be awesome. Carry on, my friends.